All things considered, Val Kilmer is doing as well as can be expected after a bout with throat cancer. Kilmer's daughter Mercedes and son Jack recently gave an update about their actor dad's health, about 5 years after beating the disease that left him with many long-term complications. Mercedes, who's now 29, says Val is doing quite well, despite the fact he's still recovering. She says the recovery process has been just as grueling as the actual disease. Jack, who's 26, has shared that everyone in their family's orbit and beyond has been exceptionally supportive of his father's recovery. He added it makes him emotional seeing so many people come together to support Val. Kilmer revealed he had cancer in April of 2017 after years of speculation he might be ill. Later that year, he detailed how the diagnosis had changed him. Val explained he was previously too serious for his own good. He stated he would get upset when things like Oscars and other recognitions didn't come his way. Mercedes and Jack have followed in their father's footsteps by becoming actors too. They had a hand in the production of Amazon's recently released documentary about their dad, Val, which premiered at the 2021 Cannes Film Festival in July and hit the Prime Video streaming service earlier this month. Jack spoke for his father in the film, as Kilmer's voice was left severely impaired by the extensive radiation and chemotherapy he underwent during treatment. In the film, he explained he's still recovering and it's difficult for him to talk and be understood. Val features home videos and several revelations, including that Kilmer didn't want to do Top Gun, but was under contract with the studio. Mercedes told Entertainment Tonight the documentary about her father left her feeling very emotional. While nothing in it surprised her, as her dad has always been a very open person, something about watching the film with an audience made her grateful that the public was finally seeing the side of her father she always wanted them to. She felt like people had previously misunderstood what kind of man Val was. She was so used to his public image being different than the playful, funny person she and her brother know. While it's wonderful to hear from Val's kids and to learn he's doing relatively well, let's take a look back at his life and career to get a better idea of what sort of person he is and where he came from. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Val Kilmer, the making of a star. Val Kilmer was born Val Edward Kilmer on December 31, 1959 in LA. His mother was Gladys Swanette Eckstadt and his father was Eugene Doris Kilmer. His father was a real estate developer and aerospace equipment distributor. Since he was a child, it was very clear to Kilmer's parents he had a natural talent for performing and possessed an undeniable gift of charm and charisma. Kilmer was a bit of a prodigy. Ever since he was a young man, Kilmer had an extremely special talent for acting and performing, and that signature charm and charisma impressed just about everyone he came across. He started acting when he was still fairly young, taking parts in productions while still in high school, alongside his buddy and fellow future star Kevin Spacey. Neither Kilmer nor Spacey knew at that point just how famous they would ultimately become, nor did they have any knowledge of the tragedies that would befall them along their journey. Tragedy struck Kilmer's family. Val Kilmer is well known for delivering powerful and moving performances as a much-applauded dramatic actor, but his personal life has contained quite a bit of tragedy. In 1977, his little brother Wesley suddenly passed away after a drowning accident. The entire family was shaken to its core, but Kilmer knew this meant he needed to make the most out of every moment in his life, because at any given moment it could be taken from him. Life was both precious and fragile, and he wasn't about to waste his. Val was a model student. Even when he was young, he already knew he wanted to make a career of acting, so he spent the remainder of his high school years at the Hollywood Professional School. This school provided education to kids already working in show business, operating only in the mornings, so the students had the afternoon free to attend auditions and hone their craft with mentors while balancing their performing lives with their studies. After graduating from high school, Kilmer was accepted at the prestigious Juilliard School in New York City, a private conservatory for the performing arts. He was the youngest student in the history of Juilliard to be accepted into their drama division. Having secured a place at this incredibly selective and world-famous school, it was only a matter of time before Val would become a star. But that's not to say Kilmer's time at Juilliard was without its struggles. Kilmer learned some tough lessons. Although Juilliard is one of the most renowned schools for training young actors and performers on the planet, the truth was Kilmer found the academy to be an incredibly difficult place to excel. They placed what he felt was a ludicrous amount of importance on things like voice training, requiring their students to do endless hours of vocal exercises. Young Kilmer resented the authoritarian way the school was run and wanted to do his own thing, but he didn't know back then just how valuable this skill would prove to be later in life. Despite having having philosophical disagreements on how the school operated and how its instructors treated him, Kilmer nevertheless learned a great deal there and graduated with even more skill in acting than he already had as a natural performer. After Juilliard, Kilmer began exploring the New York theater scene, where he slowly began to make a name for himself with a series of successful and well-reviewed stage performances. Kilmer's breakout role and early successes. Kilmer made his film debut in 1984 in the spy spoof comedy Top Secret, where he starred as blonde rock idol Nick Rivers. He went on to star in a number of films throughout the 80s, including 1986's smash hit Top Gun. Despite being an obviously talented actor with incredible range, it wasn't until his astonishingly authentic portrayal of Jim Morrison in Oliver Stone's 1991 film The Doors that the world began to take notice of his abilities. Drawing from what he reluctantly learned at Juilliard, Kilmer put his baritone voice to use in the movie, performing all of the concert pieces. Ever since then, Val has played two more American legends. He played Elvis Presley in 1993's True Romance and Doc Holliday in 1993's Tombstone. In 1994, it was revealed Kilmer would be taking over the role of Batman. Beyond Batman. In 1996, Kilmer appeared in the largely forgotten film Dead Girl, then starred alongside Marlon Brando in the critically scorned film The Island of Dr. Moreau. That same year, Kilmer starred alongside Michael Douglas in the thriller The Ghost and the Darkness. A year later, he played Simon Templar in the hit film The Saint. He received a salary of $6 million for doing that film, which went on to gross $169 million worldwide. In 1998, Kilmer voiced Moses in the animated feature The Prince of Egypt. In 1999, he played a blind man in the drama film At First Sight, which he later described as being the hardest role of his career. In 2004, Kilmer portrayed Philip II of Macedon in Alexander, performing alongside actors Angelina Jolie and Colin Farrell. Later, he played an FBI agent named Paul Priswara in the 2006 film Deja Vu. He went on to land notable roles in films like Conspiracy, Double Identity, and The Traveler. At the same time, he voiced the supercar Kit in the reboot of the popular 1980s series Knight Rider. Kilmer continued to star in films across a broad range of genres, including the comedy MacGruber in 2010, the horror film Twixt in 2011, and the animated feature Planes in 2013. He also played Mark Twain in Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn in 2014 before launching a one-man stage show about the famed humorist and writer. In 2020, he got the chance to appear alongside his daughter Mercedes in the film Pay Dirt. And later this year, the long-anticipated sequel to Top Gun Maverick, will hit theaters with Kilmer reprising his role as Admiral Tom Iceman Kazansky. Now it's time to hear from you. Let us know in the comment section what your favorite Val Kilmer film role is. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.